taking into context, let's say we go back to 1926 and just kind of move forward. I think you and I are both in the same camp. We both love statistics, and we want large samples, we want large data, we want to take a look at sort of the bigger arcs in history and economics. But as we see, let's just use the Great Depression as a benchmark, and I think peak to trough, and let's say small cap or some sort of reasonable stock index, we might see a decline of 80% peak to trough during the Great Depression. And as we sort of relate, not to a big drop in the stock market right now, but just in the sense of alarm and concern, what mistakes do people make in their portfolios behaviorally, which maybe seem to make sense in the moment, but sort of in hindsight, they become a victim of their own errors or their own fears.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so that's fantastic place to go. So yeah, my area of specialty and research and passion is what we call behavioral finance, where psychology and finance, psychology, investing come together. And it's a big topic, and several Nobel Prizes have been won in economics in this kind of new and growing field. But I think, given my previous role as the chief investment officer, I think the biggest risk that investors face is not any of the things I just listed. I really have come to firmly believe that the biggest risk investors face is that person that they see in the mirror every morning. It's ourselves, right? I don't think we as humans are very well designed to be good investors. Our survival instincts, our herding instincts are so very, very strong. And so it's easy to look, come up with a list of, things that could go wrong and start to panic and, maybe say, well, I should sell everything and go to cash. And I don't think that's a winning strategy by any means. I think, as you look back over history, yeah, certainly, as you're right, in the Great Depression, stocks declined 85%. But even there, it took 14 years to get back to even. If your timing was awful and you bought right at the peak before, the crash of October of 1929, it would have taken you 14 years to get back to even, right? You go to cash, it's, you'll never. So you'll never get ahead with cash, right? You're always going to be, it's a loser's game to run to cash. First of all, because our timing is going to be so bad. And second of all, because, you're going to lose out to inflation and taxes. So, for most people, the financial crisis is a good marker. And their stock market lost 57%, right? But if you have a well-diversified portfolio with some stocks and some bonds, and you didn't lose 57%, maybe you lost 33% or 25%, right? Now, no one's excited about losing only 25 or 33%, but you actually got back to even relatively quickly, right? And so, yeah, I just, time and time again, the important thing is for investors to be focused on their goals, right? And if your goals are measured in years, decades, or generations, which most, private client investors are, try not to focus on what's happening day to day, week to week, month to month. I like to say, listen to your heart and then do the exact opposite is probably the best strategy, right? Our heart is not well designed as an investment strategy. So if our heart's telling us to panic, or if our heart's telling us to get greedy, usually the best strategy is to do the opposite.